Hi, it's Irene from More Collective, and I am just going to be helping you set up a Google account for a service user. And we're kicking straight off with selecting language, and we're going for English in this case. And then we've got the Lenovo user agreement, which we definitely have to opt into to move any further forward. So just click in agree and then on. Then we're connecting to Wi-Fi. I'm connecting to our domestic Wi-Fi, but you have received a MiFi device probably, and so you want to connect to that. The password for the MiFi is actually on the battery inside the MiFi, and it's there. So you want to use that password to allow you to connect. Then we've got an option of copying across apps and data. We don't want to do that because it's just a wee bit easier to move forward. And then we're wanting to create a new Google account for the person receiving the device. Click on create account, and we're going for myself, even though it's for somebody else. We've got consent to do this. So then we want to put in the first name and the last name of the person receiving the device, very obviously. And then click the wee blue arrow to move forward. And then we're wanting to put in basic information. Now you do want to put in the device recipient's genuine date of birth, because that security information will be used again if the person loses access to the device. But you can click on rather not say for gender, because we're wanting to give as little information as possible going through this to Google as we can. Then Google selects a selection of Gmail addresses. So pick the one that you fancy and write it down. Really important to know the email address. And then we want to create a strong password. The strongest passwords are really ones that are sentences, memorable sentences. In this case, we're going for Santa Claus is real. And a mixture of numbers and letters and symbols will be the most helpful. So you can see there that I'm sort of adding in random bits, but something that's memorable, and write it down. We can not add a phone number on this occasion and just progress without doing that. And then it just gives you a wee reminder of the information. We have a choice here of express personalisation or manual personalisation. I'm going to get you to go for manual so that we can go through those settings. Things like don't save web activity, for instance. And then we want to don't save YouTube history. Again, what I'm trying to get you to do, I suppose, is think a wee bit about how you're consenting to data collection for someone else. So we should always really be going for the lowest level of data gathering. So don't manage ads. But I would suggest that you get occasional privacy reminders to the device, because that lets you know if Google have updated their privacy statement. So it just gets you to think about that a wee bit. So I'd opt into that one. And then we want to confirm those settings to allow us to move forward. And now we have Google's own privacy terms, which we have to accept, or it won't allow us to progress and set up the account. And now, excitingly, we've got the blue circle swirling round as it gets our account information ready. Just check that the date and time is set to London time and that it's the same one as is on your watch right now. Then we've got Google services. We can back up to Google Drive so that people don't lose, but you can also turn that off. I definitely suggest that you turn off location services because, again, you want to go for the lowest possible data gathering, and turn off sending usage and diagnostic data, because that can just slow the device down a wee bit. I'm going to suggest in this situation that we don't set a screen lock, because we really want people to use the device as they get it out the box, and they can then set that if they want to. We don't necessarily want to use Google Assistant at all. So we don't want it to be gathering data. These are all things that if you learn more about the device or the person receiving it learns more, they can change these options later on. They don't have to be for keepsies. So we don't need to worry about that. Next, and then it's the option to pay. We can skip that so that we're not putting in any bank details or any information like that for paid apps. On the last screen, anything else, I would just suggest that you maybe increase the font size because that can just help ease of use in using the device. Just makes it a wee bit clearer so it can be helpful for folk. And then we can choose a different wallpaper if you want to. The dark screen background can be a wee bit helpful, but I wouldn't necessarily bother with that. And then we're getting your tablet ready. Face recognition technology is super secure, but again, you don't want it with your own face setting. And we want to skip the Lenovo options here. Skip again, this one. And it's already set to gesture mode for the tablet and we want to keep it at that. And then look, we've got all the wee happy bubbles saying that we're finished. And then we'll just get the big flower, which means it's all over and you're good to go. Congratulations. There's the apps.